Hello, hello, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome, welcome. Welcome to one of our coding classes with a good Halloween theme. If you haven't been in one of my classes before, let me introduce myself. My name is Alex Cooper. I teach the computer classes for the Columbia County Library in Evans, Georgia. Excuse me. And Harlem Library, and also the Uchi Creek, now Grovetown Library, with our new building and everything. So very glad that you're here today. Of course, we're not doing any on-ground classes or anything. We're doing all our online classes, or excuse me, all our classes are online right now. Staying home, staying safe. No on-ground programs going on at the library, so here we are right here. Very glad that you're here with me today. Now, this class, we had a whole bunch of different Halloween themed classes for us for this month. And we've had some success with them. We also have some other ones coming up. This class, I've actually had some problems getting getting everything to work. So we're actually going to cover that. We'll talk about some of the issues I've had. And then we'll also maybe switch over and we'll follow a different tutorial that actually has the same little spot the difference prank, but in Scratch instead. But we'll talk about some of the issues and basically getting started with maybe at home you can complete the project on your own, or maybe you can let me know what I'm doing wrong. How about that? All right, so welcome to class. Very glad you're here today. And of course, the big thing I always like to talk about is feel free to kind of post any questions that you have in the chat, please. And there may be a little bit of a delay, maybe a little bit of a delay in posting in there and me reading it, so just realize that. But the big question I always ask is, how can I help? Okay, what questions do you have? Now here's a list of a schedule of the classes we have. Now next week we've got some fun classes coming up. One of them is going to be a Unity class. Let's make a robot game, okay, on the 27th at 2:30. And on the 28th, we'll actually be doing this class again. Maybe we'll figure out what our problems are with our Python coding, or maybe we'll have moved in a different direction by then, but we'll still be working on our spot the difference prank, okay? On the 28th, in the afternoon, this is a great project, especially for trick-or-treaters and stuff. We'll be doing our Raspberry Pi project, how to make a sound trap. If you've ever completed the project, how to make a whoopee cushion, we'll also be dealing with that. It's a similar project, but we're going to make it some spooky sounds and stuff, and we'll be able to make it so when someone steps on, let's say, the doormat or something, then it'll make a spooky sound that we choose. Ooh. Ooh, I'm trying to make it, that sounds kind of odd. Ooh, there you go. That's a little bit better. Spooky sound or something, a random one. And then also on the 29th, I'll be doing a gadget help with Zoom. If you want to sign up for that, just call into the library, and then you can set up 30 minutes or to an hour sessions. I'll be available 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on the 29th. And then on the afternoon of the 29th, we're going to be doing a little bit same thing that we've done before. Let's make a game, but let's make a spooky game. So we've got that all planned out with the spooky ghost in the woods game, and we click the ghosts when they jump out and stuff. So that's a lot of fun. Just a little side note here, just to let you know that if you are looking for ebooks and free digital audiobooks, do realize that you can get those to the library. As of October 1st, we have switched over from RB Digital to Libby. So if you download Libby, don't search for Columbia County Library, Evans Library, or Harlem Library. Search for Greater Clarksville Regional Library System, and then choose Georgia Download Destination, and then enter your library card, and you'll be right in. Libby offers more audiobooks and more ebooks than RB Digital does, and it's a great service. All completely free. We missed you a lot, as it says up there. Our libraries are open with limited services and hours. Curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details, or call into the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates. We also are having a subscribe-a-thon. So if we can get 100 people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then we can actually get our own customized YouTube address. Or you can search YouTube for GCHRL videos and it'll pop right up. Okay, like I said, I actually had some problems with this project. I've been working on it for a little while, and mainly it was trying to show it on the screen. And I'll show you a little bit what I've done and then kind of walk us through a little bit. I know that it's not going to work properly, and then we'll jump over and we'll actually try to complete our program with doing it in Scratch, because there is 2 programs actually available on the Raspberry Pi website. Okay, and I will actually post both of those into okay, so this is the Python one. Get that in the right place. So this was kind of our project. So let me go ahead. I'll post that in the chat. All right. And then I'll load that as well. So basically kind of had it all planned out, a great Halloween project, okay? And the really neat part about it was this is on the Raspberry Pi website, so this is one of their projects that they actually have listed. And just like coding and any other projects, things happen, and sometimes things don't work the way that they should or you want them to. And then there's other things that you can't show on the screen because it's not working properly. So that's basically what's happened with this project. Which is unusual because usually the projects I have all set and everything. So basically, it's a spot the difference. So it's one, they only have a few that are actually, I would say, relatively Halloween themed. And with the one of the programs that we did earlier today was the Scratch Make a Halloween Card. That's still from some basic tutorials that they made years ago, and on the Scratch website, or the Raspberry Pi website, that I actually kind of augmented a little bit. And now, of course, it's Halloween with our bats and stuff. So if you're looking into that, kind of introduction to Scratch, there you go right there. So this is supposed to be kind of a more of an introduction to Python. So basically what our project was, or is, or want it to be. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger here. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger. So basically the big thing is it's a spot the difference game, but the deal is it's actually a prank. So the big deal about this, and if anyone's ever done Python before, you do realize that Python doesn't really like graphics too much. You actually have to have other libraries installed to be able to actually get graphics to work. So I was actually kind of excited to include this in with our projects, because most of the time we do Python stuff with our Raspberry Pi. It's encoding with our buttons and everything, and then we get like LEDs to light up. And this is from with our other project that we did a little while ago with the project with Alex, making the doorbell buzzer buzz, bzz, 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 bzz. And then hooking it up to our Raspberry Pi, of course. So most of the time when we're doing Python coding, it's basically to do that, okay? Or just some kind of normal hello world stuff. So let's go ahead and I'll show you, and I'll disappear. Oh, by the way, just to keep the theme going, I'm actually wearing a Halloween shirt with the Skull Friends, which is a bunch of characters that are skull characters. A lot of them are happy, fun characters from all kinds of different stuff. So I kind of have a Halloween fun shirt on. Okay, so I've mentioned my shirt now, so I will turn me off, and then so you can actually focus on this, and I should be able to make this full screen. And basically what it is is our project was it was going to show this, which would make it look like it's a spot the difference game. Okay. But the big trick is when it actually looks like someone's about to click on the screen, then a ghoul jumps out. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that now. So be aware, this will have a ghoul and it will make a loud noise. Okay. So someone's looking, they're going, oh! So that was kind of our project, and it also makes the ghoul random as well. And I would personally, of course, make the ghoul a lot longer, like 30 seconds, a minute, maybe even 2 minutes into it, depending on who you're going to have look at it. And then when they're looking on here, they're like, ooh, well, that's different. And let's see, what else is different? Oh, there's another different, something I pointed out that's oh! So something just kind of fun and kind of silly at the same time. So that was kind of our idea. So, of course, you know, it's their project, so we're just kind of adopting it, I guess you'd say. While the player is searching for all the differences in the image, suddenly a scary image will appear and a blood-curdling scream will resound. And what do we need? Well, we basically just need a computer running Python. It could be a Raspberry Pi. You do need the Python software, and you also need Pygame. Now, one of the big things is, I know that the program, and I'll make sure that's at the beginning, the program Mu, or MU, actually has the game portion already installed, so you didn't have to do a whole bunch of basically jumping, trying to get something installed, making sure that it was working properly. Maybe that's part of our problem. We'll have to see that in the future. But the Mu software is supposed to basically have everything pre-installed on it, okay, to make it very easy to use. I've been using this with my Python classes, with our Raspberry Pi classes for a while now. It makes it very easy instead of having two windows open. I do like the interface with it. Of course, it's completely free. This link, and I'm actually going to include it as well, is basically getting started with that software. So basically, this is the software that Raspberry Pi is basically recommending to use for programming and coding with Python. And it does have some other built-in stuff like themes, and I won't go into that too much or whatever. But anyway, it talks about installing Me, Raspberry Pi, Windows. So Windows, it basically has the website to go to. And then basically you choose which version of Windows you are. And there is a portable version as well, meaning you don't have to install it to your computer. You can just save it to one folder and run it if you don't want to install anything. But it does have 16 and 32-bit as well. Run through the installation. It's installed, and just look for Me on the software there. Now the big thing is when it first starts Me, it actually pops up and asks you about what mode you want to be in. And basically you want to choose the Python 3 mode. Okay. Also, if you need to change a mode, if you're working on different projects that require different settings. And of course we have our classic Hello World. So I'll go ahead and do that now. All right, it's loading. All right, so here's the Me software. Hold on. So first it pops up with the different project. Just choose Python 3 and hit OK. And then if you're going to start something new with Me, just click New. And we'll do our first little project here. We'll do our classic Hello World. Okay. So basically, as you can see here, you just type it in. Remember, print isn't always printing something on a piece of paper. And it does actually give us a little bit of help. Unlike some of the other Python, it does give a little bit of help. Oh, I need to put it in quotes. Okay. And then we always have to save our project before we get started. So we have to hit save. If we hit run, it'll say, do you want to save it? I'll say save. And it said, where do you want to save it? Now, the best place to save anything in the default folder is in me code folder. Okay. Now, if you do ever get lost from this folder, and it can happen, like you click someplace else or whatever, just realize the easiest way to find it is basically clicking documents and hitting the back button. Okay. Whoop, hang on. Oh no, that's not, there you go. All right, so you go to C drive, users, your username, and then it'll be right there. Okay. Mu code. Okay. And then I'm actually going to call this hello world and hit save. All right, now we can actually run it. We can see it says hello world at the top. Let's click run, and instead of opening it in a separate window like it would in Python 3, it opens it in this little area, and there we go. There's our hello world printed on the screen, and the code, usually I'd have to do the keyboard shortcut, the Control C, but we actually just click up here and we can hit stop. Okay, and then the code window disappears. A lot easier to use than it is with the other one, especially with students and trying to teach somebody new. So it goes through our save process, the run process, the hello world, and of course you can't have multiple open at the same time and just kind of flip back and forth. So there is a nice tab system, and I won't go into it too much, but basically it does have a little bit of it'll highlight something that's wrong, and it also has a checking and also a debug mode as well. Okay, so you can go up here and click check, and it'll say absolute 0 problems found before you run your code to go ahead and try to figure out what's wrong. Now remember, first attempt in learning is fail. First attempt in learning is always fail. And as long as you can remember that, we'll be doing really well, because usually our code, we do have a problem with it. We have to start over. So that's kind of the basics of using. It goes into changing the themes that you can do. There's like a night mode. And there you go right there. And it goes right into learning how to do some of the new projects. Okay. Now they do have, of course, the Mu website and the tutorials as well. So tutorials with codewith.mu. Tutorials right here. So if you want to go further into that, and it's all right here, very easy to try. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go back to our main section here. So we have our software on our computer. Let's talk about what we're going to learn to try to complete this project. Like I said, I had a problem with it, and I'll show you what problem I had with it. And then maybe you can go further. Maybe it is the software that I have installed, or if I've had extra software, because I do actually have a full version of Python 3 installed on here. I'm not 100% sure what it is. So we'll learn together, and then we'll finish up by playing around with the same project, but on Python. Okay. Talk about what we're going to learn. So first, we need to download a zip file. Okay. And I will show you. So it actually has a zip file to download. Now, if you're unfamiliar with zip files, what a zip file is basically they take more than one file, which are most of these files here. Not the hello world and not this display one, but the run me has the full code on it. This is the picture. This is the scream sound, scream wave here, and here's the other picture. Okay, so here's the ghoul, here's the spot the difference, and here's the scream, and the rest of it is stuff you can make yourself. Now, the file, the Windows Explorer, which is this right here, File Explorer, that's right here. If you click on a zip file, it will say, do you want to extract that? And you say yes. Okay. Tell you where you want to extract it. The best place to extract it is to put it in the mu code folder. Okay. So here's our picture. You can actually just download the picture separately if you do not want to do the zip. And then the coding is supposed to tell us everything else. And the WAV file, of course, sounds like... Ah! There's your WAV file sound right there. So basically it wants us to open up the file, or we're going to create our own. So we'll kind of walk through this. And close that. I'm going to do new. Copy paste. And I'm going to do save. And I'm just going to save over the top of our other file here. So let's just walk through our tutorial. But like I said, I had problems with it actually working. So let's just kind of walk through the tutorial together. Okay. The first part here to really kind of know, and I'll just kind of read it from our different steps that are listed on here. So here's our libraries. Okay. So it's going to we want it to import sleep from the time library, import rand ring, which I don't, that's short for something, but it's from random library is the big deal. And then it wants to import Pygame, okay, and have that where it's going to initialize it. All right, so this was the issue that I had. My first part, it actually did not display the graphic like it was supposed to. I will tell you this, I did find out that when I ran the project here and the file was not in the right folder, or it couldn't find the file, at the bottom it would say file, picture file not found. So that was actually very helpful. Basically, you want to save the file in the same folder as your pictures, okay? So basically, your first step to display the picture image on the screen, to do this, you need the computer to detect the size of your monitor. You need to know the monitor size because different types of monitors have different resolutions, and you need to know the resolution to display the image correctly, okay? So I need to create two variables called width and height. Here's width variable, height variable, okay? Then use the display info, which is this, Pygame display info, methods to find out what the width and the height of your monitor is, okay? Now, interesting because you actually see the second monitor that I have, and my first monitor that has all the recording stuff, and of course YouTube is on there as well, is it's a 10 by 80p. I believe this is a higher resolution than that. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, it's supposed to adapt for that. Here's where it says screen equals that, and then the variables are listed right here. So basically, once this finds out what the height or width of your monitor is, or resolution I should say, I don't like it saying monitor, I'd much rather it say your resolution. Anyway, the height and width of your resolution, it's supposed to put these in here and then set the mode to that, okay? And then it's supposed to quit the Pygame. So let me show you. Oh, well, we're not done yet. We got to keep going. So save the program and then run it. You should see a blank rectangle window open. This is the Pygame window. It should close itself straight away because of your program reaches the Pygame quit line. So I will copy this. And a lot of the time in these classes, the interesting thing is I will even retype everything. But in this one, since it's right here, and I guess due to time, we'll kind of to skip over that. So basically, we're supposed to have another window open. My problems that I'm having with this as a project is that I can't move the window to the right side so you can see it, or the right monitor. We'll see where it appears. But when I click on it, then it gets like an error message. You'll see what I'm talking about, maybe, or it may just appear on the left monitor. We'll see. So let me hit run. Yep, did you see it flicker for a second? You see it's not in the same window. Now, when it hits the quit, that's when it quits, okay? So that was just a proof of concept that it is making a display window. Okay, so let's make it display our image. Like I said, Python with previous projects, usually we don't really get into anything that does actually have graphics in it. Mostly ours are project based. Let's talk about display an image. To display an image in Pygame, you first need to load the image, start with the spot the diff PNG image, add a line of code in the image, put the new line above Pygame quit line, scary spot the difference. Okay, so we'll copy this and we'll hit stop on here and we'll replace. So this is what we've added. Difference equals, so that means the difference, the spot the difference is what we want. Difference equals Pygame image load. There it is right there. So basically it's making a variable for it. You hit save. And now let's hit run. And that's all I would get. And then it disappears, as you see. Now, when we come down, it'll say the image may be too big for your monitor. Your next step is to scale the image using the width and height variables. Now, I actually did not have that problem. So when I hit run, it's just a black screen that actually happens. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next step here. The image may be too big for your monitor. Your next step is to scale the image using width and height variable. Okay. So now we're going to add difference equals Pygame transform scale difference width and height. Okay. So we'll copy this part. So now we've added difference, the variable difference equals Pygame transform scale difference width and height. Okay, and now let's hit run. See, again, just an empty black box. Now, I'm actually not familiar with the, let's see. One second, let's see. It says BLIT actually stands for block transfer. Let's see. So there's something else called flip as well. Good. Dr. Cooper, glad that you're here. Okay, so we're going to put this one in. It's going to add BLIT. I guess that would be because it's supposed to stand for block transfer. How to copy the contents of one service to another. You can only blit from one service to another. Okay. So let's try this, and then I copy this one. Now, as you see, if you have been seeing the Raspberry Pi projects, we actually now have sleep going on. What does sleep do? Sleep means that it's going to read all the projects, and you have to import sleep. That's what this is up here. It starts this, it loads our codes from the library. It runs our code in this order, the same way we have it displayed. And then when it finishes all that, it gets to this part, and sleep, the 3 means sleep for 3 seconds. Okay. And then it goes to quit. All right. So let's try that. So now we're actually adding blit. Okay. Game display, update, and the 00 is supposed to mean that it's taking the spot picture and putting it in the display all the way on the left side, okay, is what it's supposed to do. Now, when I do run, it should open up. We'll see the picture for a brief second, but when I click on it, it freezes. So these are kind of the issues that I'm actually having with this project. Here's our picture. And then it's supposed to wait 3 seconds and then quit. But when I run it, if I click on it, I can't move the window so y'all can see it. And I also cannot resize the window. So I can put it, and I have tried making it longer. So this like 10 minutes. I mean, not 10 minutes, but like 10 seconds. But it's like it shows the image. It doesn't show it properly on the screen, and then when I try to move it around just like I would a normal, you know, Windows window, it actually freezes, and I'll start to get like an error message on there. So that's why I basically have found out that I can't really use this project for an online class. Okay. Oh, it did look like it moved there for a second. Hold on here. Let's make that 10 seconds, and maybe it's decided to work better. Okay, I want to move it. Okay, and now see what I mean? Now it's not, there you go. So just having a real problem getting the image to display at all, and then to display properly. So I should very easily be able to grab this, pull it over here, maybe even resize the window. It will not let me do it, as you can see. And then I get an error message. As you see, it has to display a picture. So I'm really not sure exactly what's going on, but I am following the instructions here. And maybe it will work better on your computer system where I'm doing something wrong. So we're all learning something together. So let's go on to our next part here. These lines display the image at the coordinates 0 to x0. Now, the interesting part about this is we actually talked about our coordinates, coordinate, I can't even say it this afternoon. Coordinate, I'll work on that. I'll come back to that later. Our anyway, the x and the y axes, okay? So the 0 and the 0 means in a window, it'll be on the top left, okay? So if you do change this number in any way, it will push the picture further down to the right, okay? This means the top left corner of the image is placed on the top left hand corner of the window. Then the window sleeps for a few seconds so you can have the view, the image, okay? Now, let's keep going with our project here. Like I said, I probably will not work, and then we'll switch over to Scratch and try to complete our project there. Okay. To switch the image to a scary one, you need to use blit again. First, load the scary image into memory and scale it in the same way as a different image. So now we have a new variable called zombie. So zombie equals pygame image load. Okay, there it is right there. And then it says zombie equals pygame transform scale. And remember the width and the height. So the display is trying to get what the width and the height of our computer display is. Okay, so where it says width, height, height. But for some reason, maybe that's getting the wrong information, or maybe we need to be able to change that. And one of the times I actually did change it, and all it did was made the window smaller, and then it still froze on me. So that was not actually the main issue that was going on with this project. Now let's go ahead and let's try this. I usually can get it to show the picture very briefly on the screen of the zombie. Okay, so it's supposed to show the picture here and then go into the zombie picture. So here we go. Yes, I know it's off center. It had shown it in the past. Maybe there's something else I need to add. Okay. Now I have two lines to separate the window for displaying the new image and then update the display. Okay. So there's something we haven't done yet. So we need to use screen blit command with a file name. Here are the lines of code you need to add. So zombie needs to use the screen blit. So let's look at our code here. So how do we get it to show the difference on there? So basically we need to do the same thing, but instead of it saying the difference variable, it needs to say zombie. Okay? So why don't we go below the 3 seconds here, and we're going to copy this, and instead of it being difference, it's now going to say zombie. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll just copy and then have it pause for 3 seconds too. Okay, all right, so let's try to run that. So it should show that for 3 seconds, and then it's supposed to, there you go, there's our zombie head. But as you see, again, I can't move the screen, and it's really the wrong size and everything. So still working on this project. Now let's see what they did. Oh good, that's the exact same thing, except they added 3 seconds here at the end. So their zombie just flickers on the screen, and me adding the 3 seconds at the end made it longer. Okay, so it wants to talk about making the zombie pop up randomly. Okay. Your program is a little predictable at the moment. Okay. Add some randomness by randomly changing the pause between the two images being displayed. Okay. Change the sleep pause between the two images being on screen to a random number. Okay. Alright, so let's get a hint. Rand range, the rand range function gets imported at the top of your program. Can you use this function to select a random number for the pause? So here's our layout. Here's the line you need to add. So this will make it 5 to 15 seconds. Okay. Oh, I can't select that? Okay. So I will put that in by hand. So 5 to 15 seconds, we'll put that here. RAM. And this is a great program to have a little bit of help here, because unlike the basic Python 3 one, it doesn't give suggestions. So, rand range. Okay. Make it 5, 15, and you do need to make sure you have a double close parentheses. Okay. I'm going to hit save. Now this means that it's going to show on screen between 5 and 15 seconds, and then it'll show the it's going to show the spot the difference, and then it's going to show that for 5 to 15 seconds, and then it'll show the zombie. Okay, and I've made that so the zombie will stay on the screen for 3 seconds. Okay, so let's do save and run. And again, I can't move it over. And there you go. There's the zombie. It flashed. There you go. So our project would be fine if I could just show it in the main window, but it doesn't want to show. So okay, so we've made the zombie come up randomly now, 5 to 15. Now to change this, if you want it longer, I would probably, of course, if you're really going to do this just as a fun, kind of the zombie thing's going to come out, probably make it 30 seconds to a minute or so. Get someone to really focus in on what the differences are in the picture, and then make it show the next picture. All right, now this was the other part that I had some problems with on my system to make the sound actually work. Okay, but we're going to walk through their tutorial anyway. So let's talk about adding some sound. Okay, now it's time to add the scream to make the game a little scarier. In Python, just like the images, the sound needs to be loaded first before it can be used. Load the sound before the second image is displayed. Okay, lad the sound file. Should that be load? Guess they've missed a letter. Load the sound file as a variable called scream, like this. So we should be loaded as scream equals Pygame mixer sound, and there's our scream file. Okay, and it needs to be before the blit is what it needs to be. Okay, so let's copy that. Yeah. All right, so let's copy that. So before blit, here we go. Is that screen difference? Okay, hang on, let me make sure I'm putting it in the right place. Okay, so I'll put it in the same place that they want me to in our example. There you go. So the screen blit, play. So it does our picture right below zombie. There we go. Okay. Add a line of code to start playing the sound just before the second image is shown, and add another line to stop the sound just before the Pygame quits. Okay. So we need to add play scream right after the zombie is shown. Okay. Scream play, and then scream stop right before the Python game. Okay. All right. Now, this was another one that I was having a problem. I could not get it to play a sound. Now, maybe we'll have different luck here in a second. Save and run your code to see if it works. Then surprise your friends by telling them to have made a spot the difference game for them to play. Okay? Of course, we could make a real spot the difference game. All right, so let's hit run. 5 to 15 seconds randomly. All right. Very good. Now, believe it or not, last time I worked on this project, I could not get it to play anything. And why is it now playing? I'm not 100% sure, but it did work. So at least we have success in that. So let's run it one more time, even though I can't have it properly showing on the screen. At least we have the scream going on now. Okay, very good. So I guess it'll be more tampering with the graphic part of it, or the display mode, to try to figure out how to fix the display, at least make it maybe full screen or something. Mac, that's a great idea. Absolutely. Share this with friends or family members, especially someone that likes doing coding projects. Maybe they can help me figure out the code. Okay, so let's talk about challenge. Take the challenge further. And it actually leads us to the Pygame website. And from here, we're actually going to go and then switch over to the Scratch version of this project, which I have a whole lot more confidence that we'll be able to fix it so it's on the screen so we can see it, okay? Can you make the game more realistic? Have you looked at Pygame website to find out how to detect mouse clicks from your victim so they can click on differences? Make the game keep a fake score of differences, spotting the face when it appears. So let's check that out. So basically, it doesn't, the tutorial kind of ends here, and it kind of puts you into learning more about Pygame, which is Python game. And like I said, one of the big things is the Mu has it built in to make it a lot easier to use, especially someone new to it, because installing Pygame can be a bit of a struggle. Okay, so the Mu is a newer way to basically to get that started. So this kind of jumps into basically learning about coding with the Pygame in general, and it doesn't really have a tutorial going any further, okay? But that could be a challenge to go beyond this part here. So it basically talks about what other things should we do next, and then you can have a collection of their other projects that they have as well. I like this tutorial. The only thing about it was I couldn't get it to work properly, as you can see, but at least we did get the screen to work and everything, and that was pretty fun to do. Okay, now let me go ahead and we're going to, like I said, switch over to the Raspberry Pi, the Scratch version of this project. So here's the tutorial for the Scratch version, okay? And let's go ahead and we'll do this one together. And I think I sure do. Okay, so let's go ahead and this website, and I'll post it in the chat as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's walk through this one. We'll see how far we go, of course. If it takes too long, I'll have to just leave the tutorial website with y'all. Introduction. In this project, you will use Scratch to create a Spot the Difference game with the scary surprise to prank your friends and family. What you will make. Click on the green flag and then click on any differences you see in the two images. Watch out, there's a surprise. Okay, so let's do our project here. Let's see, so what was it doing? A lot more effective when you can see the whole screen, isn't it? Okay, so let's talk about what we will need. Of course, you could make a real click the game, thing if you wanted to. That would actually be pretty good. What you will need, a computer that's running Scratch, which basically means any computer. Just the website, so we're just going to be doing the online mode, and it also has the resources that are listed, the zip file, and I believe, let me make sure, I'm going to save that to, what will I need to save that to? Okay, we can save that to there, and different resources. Let me look at that. Make sure that's what I think it is. It has the same stuff. The only difference is, of course, we're only going to be using the picture and the sound, which is kind of neat. Okay. All right. So here we go. So download this. It has the pictures in it, and then it also has the WAV file in it as well. Let's talk about what we're going to learn. We're going to learn how to use a loop to detect events, how to use the random operator, and also how to play an imported sound. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Our main starter project's already online. Okay. To open the starter project. Now, if it is the, let's see. I may want to upload everything separately. Now, so there is a already pre-made project that has everything already uploaded for us. Okay. And we click the background backdrops. They're located right there. Okay. So I'll go ahead and copy that. So if you want to follow along, you can. So I'm posting that in the chat if you just want to follow along. Now, if you haven't used Scratch before, I recommend you come to or watch one of the previous Scratch classes we've done. We did one earlier this morning. This morning, and it went rather well. It was a lot of fun. Got the handout for that and everything, and the basics of that are all listed on there, and lots of nice fun projects. And near the end of the month, we'll also be doing another coding class for Scratch as well, but we'll be coding a game. Okay. Now, if you wanted to upload these things separately, okay, I'm going to show you how to do that too. So first, I'm going to do this two ways. I'm going to use their, let's see, I'll start my own for right now. So I'm going to do a new, we'll get rid of the cat. The main thing is, how can I upload a picture? So this kind of answers the questions, how do I upload pictures? So if I go here, let's see, we want to upload the backdrop. So I'll click where it says upload backdrop. And I need to just basically find where my backdrop is. There's my spot the difference. All right. And then I want to click it. I want to click the upload again, because now I want to upload the scary face. And this is how we kind of switch back and forth. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the blank one, I guess. And now with our sound, is the sound, where is is the sound located? So let me look and make sure I want to do exactly the same thing they have done. So is the click background then sound? Yep. So basically, I click the backdrop, and then let's go and let's click sounds. And that's just the built-in one. And let's upload our sound, okay? And there's our scream, wave file. Click OK. And we can play around with it as well. Okay, so basically I've had one that I've built from scratch. And I also have one that's the pre-made one as well. So that's basically how you do this on your own. Okay. And now there basically should be no difference between this one and the original one that I started with. Okay. So let's go back to our tutorial. So we click the backdrop, okay? Click on the thumbnail with the zombie, and the zombie image should appear on your stage. Click Next Sounds tab, and you should see a scream. Click on play the button to hear it. Detect mouse clicks. Soon you'll ask your friends to try out a new Spot the Difference game. They will have to click on as many differences as they can find, but they won't know what that after they first click, a timer will start and then the zombie will appear. Okay? To detect a mouse event like a click, your program has to always be listening for the event. Set this up. You can use a forever loop. When you click the flag, start a forever loop. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go ahead to our code. When clicked, we want to start a forever loop. And I'll zoom in on that because it's a little small, I know. A forever loop. Okay. Now, your code will change the backdrop. So make sure the start backdrop is displayed at the beginning of the game. Okay. So we want to make sure. And I think it's just called this one, of course. So we want it to be switch background to start. I guess they've renamed the Spot the Difference one to start. So I can just we'll call it start. So it matches what they're calling it. Okay. So let's see. Looks. Where is backdrop? Backdrop. Okay. Switch backdrop. Switch backdrop to start. Okay. So when we click the flag, it's always going to start on this one. Okay. Now, you need to use the if block to detect if mouse down. If it is, then you will switch to a backdrop to scare. Okay, so let's click need a hint. You can find the if block in the control when the mouse down block in the looks menu. Okay. So we're looking for the switch backdrop to scare if mouse down. Okay, so we want to do a forever loop. So this is this underneath the same thing. So we want to get a if, the sensing, the control if, then if we want sensing. Let's see, mouse down, meaning clicking. You've clicked. If mouse down, then switch background to scare. Look, switch backdrop to scare. And I guess they've called it scare, so I will call it scare real quick. So it'll be the same. Scare. Okay. Switch backdrop to scare. Click on the green flag to run the program. When you click on the backdrop, the image of the zombie should appear briefly. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at it full screen. And when I click the green flag, it should be showing the start backdrop. Okay. Now that means when I click, it should switch over to the ghoulish zombie. That's kind of funny. That's a really great effect because it is going back to the original, and only when I click down, I'm holding the button down, does it show the zombie. Okay, but when I let go of the button, it actually that's kind of funny because it's like, oh, what was that? I don't know, just keep playing the game. I think this is different here. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Okay, so click the green flag. When you click the green flag, the image of the zombie should appear briefly. Let's add a random pause. Your program is nearly finished. In this step, you will make the program pause for a random number of seconds between the zombie appear. Use a pick random block and wait block to make the program pause for a few seconds before the image of the zombie appears. So let's do need a hint. So we need a wait block in the control menu. A wait block picks a random operator. So here's our wait seconds. Random pick 1 to 10. Okay. That is a long time for probably this game. So let's go ahead and let's put it in between. So when they press the mouse down, it'll randomly pick 1 to 10, like the Python thing we told it 5 through 15. Remember? So 0 to 10 seconds, and then it's going to go to the next part of our code, which is switch and show the zombie. Okay. So we need wait. Where's my wait? Wait, don't I need? Yeah. So here's my wait. Wait. And then we're putting in an operator, which is pick random. And you see how this is like a circle? That means anything that's like that, it'll go in there as well. So we hover it, it'll highlight, let go, and then wait 1 to 10 seconds and then show the zombie. All right, so let's do it. Make sure it says to run it. I'm sure it will. Click the green flag. Test your code. When you click on the stage, the zombie should appear after a random amount of time, and then the backdrop should switch back to the spot the difference image. Okay. So let's hit the green flag. The game has begun. All right, so go ahead and see if you can spot the difference. Let's see. Where's there a spot the difference? Let's see. There's not a candle here. So, okay, so I click that. And then we're going to click. Oh! What was that? What was that? Did you see that? What was that? I think that was too fast. I think that was just too fast. Let's see. I think the spider is missing a hand. So let's see over here. What is there anything different? Let's see how many bubbles there are. Let's see, there's a cat. Oh! Not as effective when it does it too quickly, I think. All right, so let's add a scream in there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a wait, because that was way too fast for like half a second. I think that'll be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and try that. See, we can even improve our code when even the tutorials. So let's do go. I know, let's see. It's neat. It's like you want to know what are the differences in this difference thing. Oh, her neck, her bat's upside down. So click. Ah! Was that a little bit better? So we could see it for a second. Or maybe I should make it a quarter of a second. Okay, so now let's add a sound. And I think I know exactly how we're going to do this, but we're going to walk through it anyway. In this step, you will make the zombie scream when the image appears. Okay? Add a play sound until block after the zombie image appears, and the set. Okay, so they're adding it to where it says until done. So that's going to make the zombie appear on the screen longer, just like I just added a second to wait to a quarter of a second for it to wait. The choosing until done means it plays the sound until done and then goes to the next part, and that would be take the sound off. Okay, take the image off, excuse me. Can you play the sound until done block on the sound menu? Here's the block you will need. Play sound, scream until done. Now, some of these will say just play sound, and then it'll go to the next part of the code. But the point is the until done mean the scream will finish and the zombie will stay on the screen the whole time. So that means that it's going to get here, click, it's going to switch to the zombie and go to here, but play the scream. So I don't need to have the wait a quarter of a second or half a second or a second or whatever, because the until done means it's not going to go back and make it disappear until you anticipate the next mouse click until it finishes playing the sound. All right, so let's do that. So I'm actually going to delete that because adding the sound, the until done, not just the by itself, the until done scream will keep it on the screen longer. Okay. Click the green flag to test your program. When you click on the stage, then there should be a random pause when the zombie should appear and the scream sound should play. Okay. Prank your friends by asking them to play your Spot the Difference game. Tell them they have to click on all the differences they find in the image and then watch them jump in fear when the zombie appear. I know it appears, but I thought that was funnier. All right, so let's do full screen. All right, so let's pretend that we're a friend or family member and said, oh, I got a really neat game for you to play. So, okay, well, it's a Spot the Difference game. Yeah. So the Spot the Difference game, actually this would be, trying to think. Anyway, we could actually make this into a real game. But anyway, let's go ahead. So anyway, I got a great Spot the Difference game for you to play. Yeah, made it myself, want you to play it. So the person goes, okay, what do I do? Click the green flag and then just try to click all the differences that you see in the picture. So okay. So let's see. The candle's different. The thing on the neck is different. Let's see, what else do we see? It's different. Was that supposed to happen? And I will tell you, if you were doing this, you'd have the sound a little bit louder, of course, than what we have. Let's see, down there. Because I don't know what that was. You should keep playing. And let's see, the bubbles maybe? Let's see. So it's set to just be on the screen. The background switches just long enough for it to actually finish playing the sound. Okay? So it works out really well. All right, so let's go next. What next? You could add a countdown timer. So your friends will concentrate really hard to find the spot the difference before the timer runs out. You could add a fake score. Perhaps you could then set up the game so that the zombie doesn't appear until your friends have clicked on at least 3 differences. Okay. You could try to program a similar prank in Python. Have a look at, and of course it's going to take us to our Python coding one that gave us some problems. But we could actually add a countdown timer and everything to make everything, a little bit more focused, I guess you could say. So that's really neat, and it worked out pretty well, I think. So we kind of covered a lot. So the biggest thing I would say about being able to do, there's more than one way to do the same project as well. And let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me see something. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll actually see if we can add, since we do have some time here, see if we can add a countdown timer. Now, I do actually have a tutorial here about making one pretty quickly, so we'll mostly be just kind of follow along with this one, okay? So the idea is when we click the flag, it actually will have a timer on there, and I think 15 seconds should be pretty quick and to make someone kind of focus on what they're doing. Or maybe we can make it 30, it doesn't matter. And then it'll come in, of course nothing bad will happen. Maybe you make the zombie yell at you anyway. That could actually be pretty funny. So anyway, all right, so let's go ahead, and what we need to do is this. We're going to do it on the background, so we actually need to go and create a variable. Now there are a variable, is one already called my variable, but let's make a variable so it'll be called timer, okay? Or is there one already called timer? No, surely not. Okay, so let's make a variable and let's call it timer. And say okay. And now we have our timer. So let's go ahead and get our, where's our flag? So anytime the green flag is clicked, oh shoot, I'm on the wrong one. So let's click our background here and let's zoom out. Let's get our flag involved. We need to go to our variables. Make a variable, let's call it timer. We have our variable, and we actually want it to be set to, let's see, what do we want it to be set to? Surely 30 seconds or so. Maybe we'll do a minute. Maybe that would be better. I don't know. I have to kind of think about that. Should it be though? Okay, so let's go ahead and get our parts on here. All right, so we need our repeat until, and we should have, there's our timer that showed up. That's because we have the checkbox. If we did not want it to be visual, it won't be if we don't do our checkbox. We want our wait on there, which will make it wait a second. And then we want our operators. Let's see, where's the equals? There it is. Put our operator on there. And we want it to be our timer. Timer equals, I guess we'll do 60. I think that would be okay. And then we want to change time by 1. There you go. Okay, so when we click the flag, oh, hang on, why is it going up? I want it to go down. Why is it going up? Wait, do I need to do like a minus? Or sure. Is that what I need to do? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, you gotta reset. Oh, goodness gracious. Alright, let's see. Repeat until timer. Let's see. So I click the thing. Let's see. The timer equals 60. Let's see. I don't want it to count up. I want it to count down. Let's see. So does that mean I need to do a repeat until timer equals, it would be 0 for 1 second, change timer by minus. So I think we're doing a down. Click that. Set my variable. Set timer to 60. There we go. All right. So when the flag is clicked, it's going to set the timer at 60, and then until it reaches 0, it's going to count down every second. All right. So here we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now let's try it. All right. Let's go ahead, hit start. Let's see. So imagine someone looking a lot. And then like, oh no, the timer's gonna run out. Click. Let's see, what's another one on here? There's another one going on. That's another. There you go, right there. And then they're like, what was that? I don't know what that was. Just never mind it. Never mind. I don't know what that was. Just keep playing. Very good. And we also learned about putting a timer on it too. I guess 30 seconds would be a little bit better because they might feel a little more pressure. You want to feel pressure while they're working. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so what have we learned? We've learned a lot, haven't we? We've covered a lot, haven't we? So basically I still have, here's the tutorial from you and also their own tutorials. And then we did our spot the difference prank, even though we haven't really figured out how to get the screen right. Randomly 5 through 15. We did get it to play the sound. So I'd say that's a 85% success. That's funny. And then we did our spot the difference project to completion. And then we also completed our project here by clicking the mouse down, making it random, playing the sound in our Scratch, and then we also did our timer that counted down for us too. Okay, so we've covered a lot. It was fun with our Halloween themed stuff. So as we kind of start wrapping the class up here, I want to thank everybody for coming and everything. And I'll go ahead and talk about some of the other classes that we're having coming up. And of course, I've got all the links into the chat there. So if you wanted to do those, follow along later, maybe even try to figure out on my computer, I had the problem with the screen. Maybe yours didn't. But also doing it in Scratch and trying to figure it out in Python too is probably a good thing to try to do both. And you can realize the differences, and of course, in the different coding languages too. So like I said, we've got some neat projects coming up next week. Okay. Next week, one of our big ones, of course, is on the 27th. We're going to be doing our first Unity introduction to Unity class, just a little bit of a basic Make an Amazing Robot game. That's going to be our project on the 27th. I will tell you, if you're going to follow along with me, you need to go ahead and have Unity installed on your computer. Just search Google for Unity, and you can go to their main site, and it's free to download for personal use. And it did require me to sign up with a email address to be able to download it. So do know that was a requirement. Then I had to verify the email address as well. But that's a big step into a much bigger world of video game coding and animation coding and all kinds of stuff. So we'll be doing that project on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we're going to be doing this class again. And we'll actually be changing a few things, I think. And maybe between then and now, I may be able to figure out exactly what the display issue was. So we'll update that class too. So if you're watching this pre-recorded, maybe watch this class some and then watch that class and then learn something new in both. Well, the good thing about watching a class that's been recorded is that you can fast forward in some of the stuff, can't you? All right, and the 28th, the afternoon at 2:30, we're going to be doing a Raspberry Pi project, how to make a sound trap. So basically, this is connected up with the whoopee cushion type project that we do with our Raspberry Pi, but we're going to make it into a sound trap. So if someone comes and steps on a mat on our front porch, then it actually will trigger it, and it'll make some random Halloween sounds and stuff. Okay, so come join me for that. That's a lot of fun. And also on the 29th, I'm going to be doing a gadget help on Zoom. So basically, call into Grovetown Library and then set up your time, and they'll send you information on how to do that. And the time is from 30 minutes to an hour, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Choose the times, and then I'll do Zoom gadget help, any kind of problems you're having with your laptop or anything like that. And then on the 29th, the afternoon, we'll be finishing up doing our Scratch Basics and our last Halloween themed class. Let's make a spooky game, which will be a lot of fun because it's Halloween. So we'll be doing some ghosts in the woods kind of stuff, clicking on him and jumping out at us and stuff and counting him and everything. And some other stuff too. All right. Again, a little bit of a side note. If you are looking for your RB Digital ebooks and audiobooks, realize that October 1st we switched over to the Libby service, so you need to download the Libby app. Don't search for Columbia County Library, Harlem Library, or Grovetown Library. Search for Greater Clarksville Regional Library System and choose Georgia download destination and enter your library code, and then it should let you right in. A side note, our libraries are open with limited services and hours. Curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details or call the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, we're doing a subscribe drive. If we can get 100 people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll get a customized YouTube address, or just search YouTube for GCHRL videos and then it will pop right up. So thank you for joining me today. It was a lot of fun. I learned some stuff. Hope you learned some stuff too. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a great weekend. See you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Getting ready for Halloween and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. And have a great day. It's pretty outside. It's supposed to be kind of hot the next few days. It's supposed to be more like May than October. So enjoy the warmer weather until it gets cold again. Okay? All right. Y'all have a great day. And I wish you bye-bye. Bye-bye.